Hi, this is Rick Stroud with Stephen Holder of the St. Petersburg Times. Let's talk about the Bucs game in San Francisco on Sunday. The Bucs, of course, trying to keep a winning streak alive here now. They're 6-3, really in the middle of these things. They play a 49ers team that suddenly is hot behind a quarterback that people know, Heisman Trophy winner Troy Smith out of Ohio State. They picked him up. He didn't fare very well with the Baltimore Ravens. It was a guy that got hurt and was, lost his job to Joe Flacco. But Stephen, you talked to Troy Smith today and Mike Singletary. What's the magic that's happening there for them?
Well, he's a guy who's playing with confidence right now, and that confidence has it's grown actually because Mike Singletary has shown that he believes in this kid. He thinks that he can lead this team over a guy who was a #1 overall pick, Alex Smith. So he certainly is playing with a lot of confidence. And you know what? Really, this is a guy who hasn't had a lot of opportunity. So really, he's been sitting back and learning for a couple of years, and this is really his first chance in a very long time to show his growth as a quarterback. You mentioned just a minute ago he had that unfortunate situation in Baltimore. Got ill just before the season. In steps Joe Flacco out of nowhere as a 1AA player, as a rookie, and actually has a brilliant rookie season. So then after that, that was pretty much all she wrote there for him. So he's got sort of a new lease on life here, and I think he has a real appreciation for this opportunity he has in San Francisco. And as Raheem Morris has mentioned, this is a guy who is a playmaker and a guy who really is a dual threat in some regard too. So you really have to be on your keys when you play Troy Smith and that offense that has a ton of weapons at his disposal, which I think the Bucs are going to find out about, win or lose, on Sunday. One of the things that we'll also be looking at in terms of storylines in this game is just how the Bucs have fared on the West Coast, particularly in San Francisco. Rick, to talk about the history there and just the ugly, ugly history in San Francisco.
Well, it hasn't been good. They've only won one time. That was way back in 1980, and I believe Doug Williams was the quarterback, so that's how far along back it goes. And, of course, 49ers had some great teams, but they haven't been great of late, and they still have lost in some horrific fashions to quarterbacks like Cody Pickett, if you can remember him. Remember one time Simeon Rice getting sent home because he was late to a team meeting. They put him on a plane. There's been a lot of strange things happen in San Francisco, and this won't be an easy game from the standpoint, as you mentioned, there are some matchups and some players. Vernon Davis is a tough guy to match up with. Obviously, Frank Gore is going to come in and run the football. Who doesn't run the football well on the Buccaneers? And then on the defensive side, they have a guy named Patrick Willis, who's really one of the best defensive players, a middle linebacker that you'll see in the NFL this year or any other year. And so, the Bucs, for all their turmoil and troubles out there in San Francisco, this one seems to be a little difficult in my mind because they're playing with a lot of confidence, as you mentioned, with Troy Smith, and they just don't fare very well out there on the West Coast. So even though they won a Super Bowl there, this is the 49ers we're talking about. So check back with us next week. We'll see how the Buccaneers fare in San Francisco with the 49ers, and we'll be talking to you again on TampaBay.com.